So I'm Aiden, I'm 16 years old, just started college. I do a lot of fishing, just started up a bit of hunting. I like to do a bit of longboarding, and I had a quite popular Instagram page for quite a while. I only really had Facebook for my close friends and just talking in contact with them when I didn't see them. But then I started to see potential in where I could grow. I had a passion for motorbikes, and I really wanted a collection of photos of motorbikes that I like. And I saw other pages on Instagram of similar things where they have almost a collage of pictures, so I just started doing that. It first started off as a personal thing, and when I hit around 1,000 followers, I started to realise that I was gaining traction, and I had influence, as weird as it sounds, and I could start saying things and knowing that other people would hear what I would say, and it just grew from there. I got to admit, I did get a bit addicted to posting, and as weird as it sounds, addicted to the fame, I guess, that came along with it, and I probably posted minimum about 3 times a day. I felt more confident because I knew I had all these people following me, but at the same time it kind of brings you down because you are something else online what you are in real life.
Well, I think firstly I would describe myself probably as a social media tourist rather than a native. So my experience is limited of actually using it myself, but what I would say is you can certainly see that it's significantly changed the way in which we live as a society. So, I mean, from the extent, I think there's lots of good things about it. So if you look at the way in which people can communicate more effectively to each other, I mean, certainly we've seen examples not only in terms of for friends and families, but equally, I think, for in terms of politics and political change. So if you look at some of the things in the Arab Spring uprising, and contributed to that as well was the sharing of social media and the ability of people to get messages out really quickly. So certainly there's been a fundamental change in communication, which has undoubtedly been an improvement. I think on the downside, however, we've certainly seen the rise of some really concerning things, and the things that are affecting young people, and equally the way we communicate to each other. So firstly, I think in terms of the pressure sometimes that social media brings, and the creation of profiles and the pressure to post on them can seem to create sometimes, I think, a pressure on people to kind of live their life in a certain way or be seen to be perfect and always enjoying life. And I think that in itself can actually lead to a degree of unhappiness, which isn't helpful or really good for people's mental health and well-being. So that's, I think, is not a good thing. And I think you've also seen the kind of rise of a lot of the kind of comments and online trolling, which can sometimes cause real difficulties for people, because there doesn't seem to be a way that people can separate their public lives from their private lives. You know, for example, a lot of bullying. We've seen that where people are driven to suicide, unfortunately, by being hounded, not only when they're out in school, but equally when they're in the home through their social media channels. So I think, and learning actually to confront that as a society is something I think we're still grappling with. So I think the other side of things as well, which we've seen recently in a lot of the news headlines around the American elections and Brexit equally as well, is the danger that social media can create feedback loops for people. So, you know, you only go on channels you like, you only watch news and content that you agree with. And certainly I think there's been some recent evidence that shows some of the media channels' algorithms actually feed into that. So we're almost in this cycle of where we're fed a constant feedback loop of information which confirms our own views. And I think whilst you can certainly understand why people want to share that, I think the downside of that is it ends up creating this idea where anyone that opposes you is actually instantly dismissed. And what that does is, I think, is close down the opportunity for real communication and actually consideration of someone's opinion and different point of view.
It's had both negative and positive. Positive in the way that you can talk to people from different countries within a click, and negative within the fact that even the people close to you, you kind of distance from them. Rather than talking to them face to face, you're talking to them via a screen, and it kind of becomes unpersonal.